Hey, what's up, wine speeders? Amanda McCrossin from @sommelier here to talk to you about how to navigate that tricky wine list. Stay tuned. Being presented a wine list can incite fear and panic, and I've seen it plenty of times at the restaurant where I am right now, which is Press in St. Helena in Napa Valley. But the wine list is not as scary a place as it might seem, and can be a lot of fun if you know how to navigate it. I think the biggest misconception when it comes to a wine list is that you have to be a wine expert in order to navigate it, and that's just not the case. Sure, wine lists can be overwhelming and scary at times, but if you understand a wine list's purpose in the restaurant and have a few key pieces of information ready to go, I think you'll find yourself way more at ease and less likely to pass it to the left the next time you're presented with one. So, we'll start with the purpose of the wine list. Generally speaking, wine lists are comprised of wines that reflect the overarching philosophy of the restaurant and/or pair with the food and the cuisine of that particular restaurant. Lists are often curated by a sommelier and, when done right, can often enhance the guest experience. For example, our wine list here at Press was modeled after the great wine lists of Burgundy and Bordeaux to be reflective of their respective regions and really deep in the wine history of that particular region. What we do here at Press is very similar, but we just do it here in Napa Valley. As a result, our wine list here at Press is the largest, deepest collection of Napa Valley wines in the world, with vintages going back to the 1950s. My first piece of advice is to identify what a restaurant's forte is and to capitalize on it. Just as you are unlikely to order a steak at a pizza shop, it would be a little unusual to order a wacky jura off of a wine list that is clearly heavy in the Napa Valley wines. Try to stick to what they focus on, and if you're unsure, just ask. Which brings me to my next point. If a sommelier is employed at the restaurant, use him or her. The era of pushy, snotty, stuffy sommeliers has been replaced with a whole new generation of young, bright, fresh, and friendly sommeliers eager to help the customer. Many of us, like myself, even got into this business because we were tired of feeling helpless and talked to by a pedantic wino. In fact, there is rarely a situation in which I won't defer to a sommelier at another restaurant if I'm dining there. He or she knows the food, how the wines have been drinking, and can often recommend something that I might never have even thought of. I've had some of my most fun discovery moments with sommeliers at other restaurants who've turned me onto bottles I never even would have considered. And most of the sommeliers that come here to Press will defer to me for exactly the same reason. So what do you do when you defer to the som? I found that there are a few key pieces of information to have before you have that initial conversation. That first piece of information is budget. I know, this can be a really uncomfortable conversation for a lot of you out there, but I promise you it's also one of the most important pieces of information to give to the sommelier early on. We love parameters to work within, and no one wants to sell you a bottle that's out of your price range. Whether it's a total wine budget for the evening or just I don't really want to spend more than this on one particular bottle, you should have a general idea of what you want to spend that evening. If you're uncomfortable verbally communicating that information to the sommelier, just find something else on the list. It could be related, maybe not. Point to the price and say, I'd like to be within this price range. Number 2, know your audience. Knowing what the crowd wants is half the battle. Aunt Susan only drinks Chard, but Cousin Kevin loves Pinot. Mom's not drinking, but Uncle Charlie is going to drink all the wine if you put it in front of him. Knowing aversions, preferences, and general consumption rates can really help you in that conversation and help the sommelier to select the best possible bottle for you. Last but not least, have a compendium of producers that you know you love. This is probably the most useful piece of information I can get from a guest. And it's because there's so many different variables and different perceptions of what wine vocabulary means to different people. Earthy doesn't necessarily mean the same thing to you as it does to me, but if I know that you love a wine like Camus, that gives me a pretty good understanding of what you're going to be looking for. Using apps like Delectable or Vivino can really help to compile that information and keep track of wines that you've liked or disliked over the years. Once you have all of that information ready to go, then it's time to have the conversation with the sommelier. And hopefully it'll be one that's a little bit smoother and results in a bottle or bottles that you can enjoy throughout the course of the evening. I hope you found this helpful, and I hope that next time you come to the restaurant, you say hello and use all of this information I just boiled down for you, and you won't feel intimidated if I swing by and hand you a wine list. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all soon.